and donuts. We sell donuts.
Hey everybody, welcome to Blood and Donuts. I am Tony.
And I'm Chris. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, what's up? Late Night with the Devil is a 2023 supernatural horror film written, directed, and edited by Colin and Cameron Carnes. The film follows the events of a late night talk show host or talk show episode aired on the night of Halloween 1977, during which the host attempts to boost ratings by inviting an allegedly possessed girl onto the show. Now, Chris, the 2023-2024 thing, it says the movie was released in the South by Southwest Film Festival, but we didn't get it in the USA and Australia until 2024. So I want to say 2024 because I want to be able to say this is one of the best horror films that we've seen of 2024.
That's fair because the rest that we've seen have been stinkers.
Have been trash.
The ones that have come out this year,
yeah.
You know. And it took us a minute too. We were looking forward to doing this one, but when we started looking forward, it was like, hey, it's not even over here yet. It was like, darn, because it was getting a lot of buzz on the internet, and I think rightfully so. It's a very cool premise. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, you know, a lot of anticipation with this one.
There was, and it had a short stint in the theaters around March. It being May, I don't think we're too late to it. Again, it was just released in the United States a couple months ago, so I don't think we're doing too bad. But yeah, there was a lot of buzz around this. Chris, would you consider this a found footage horror movie? Wait. How about this? A found footage possession movie?
Right. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, technically, it kind of is, but it's kind of like a documentary / found footage.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's a good point. And you told me we weren't allowed to do any more found footage for a while. So
I've heard a couple of people, they say, well, technically it's not found footage because you have those behind the scene things. But if that was the case, then VHS wouldn't be one because remember there was like a whole running thing behind those VHS tapes, which are found footage. You know what I mean? So I think that's
for sure.
I think you're splitting hairs. This is a found footage film.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Found footage possession movie. That's so funny, man. It's just hilarious. It's like what we review most of the time. It's like, oh, here we go, another possession movie, and then they're like, oh, another found footage. But let's just meld the two. But this is a very original idea. I like it.
Oh man, I love the idea. I love the pacing in the middle. It's so cool to kind of watch them frantically try to get ready for the next segment. You know, it's a really cool concept, and the acting is fantastic. Yeah,
especially David Dalsmalchian as Jack Delroy. He did an excellent job of being a co-host of the Johnny Carson variety.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I think all the other actors and actresses did a good job carrying that film and selling it to me as a 1970s variety show, late night talk show.
Yeah, I liked Gus, the guy that played.
Oh yeah,
Gus,
yeah, he was great.
Short guy. Yeah, he was great, and the producer behind the scenes, like just kind of keeping everybody in line. And Ingrid Torelli as Lilly, man, she was creepy,
man,
as heck.
Yeah, when she was just smiling at the camera like this. What camera do I look into?
Oh, so creepy.
And she would just sit there and just smile like this. Yeah, it was good. It was great, man. It was a very interesting movie. I'm glad I got to watch it, but I enjoyed the entire thing. Did you hear about the AI controversy with this film?
No, but I was reading that some of the mid scenes or some of the stuff was done with AI.
Yeah, so you saw like the show, the variety show, the late night talk show is called Night Owls. So you see that owl, and it's on the top of a bunch of buildings and stuff. Apparently, that's an AI image, which means it was made by artificial intelligence, and it was. But the problem, I guess, the controversy comes is first that takes somebody's job away. An artist out there or somebody who works in digital design or something like that, he or she was not hired to do this film or do that image. And again, from what I read, they don't make a lot of money anyway. So they kind of just they're skimping to save a couple $100 there, not much, or $1,000. I'm not real sure, but there was about 3 or 4 images, still images that were AI produced, and there's a controversy about that. Typically, I would have just threw my hands up and said, I don't care, but more when I read about who's affected by it and stuff, it makes you think, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I did not hear about that, and yeah, it does take away, somebody's job, as it were, even though it might not pay that much. So that's pretty interesting. And I can see why they might use it, maybe even on bigger budgets. AI is a thing now, and I think people are going to have to get used to it. So
I know, but I guess we could push back a little bit about that, because eventually they're just going to be making AI movies. Like, here is the next Spider-Man 10, complete, made by AI. I don't know.
AI is scary. Well, let's make a movie about how scary AI is.
It is so scary. Can I have a good little South Park? They took our jobs. Quote.
Yeah, they took our jobs.
People from the future showing up and offering to do the same work for next to nothing. They took our jobs. Our jobs. They took your jobs. They took your jobs.
I love that. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, so we had to talk about that. Late Night with the Devil. It's not based on a true story, but the story was inspired by an Australian late night talk show host, Don Lane, and the James Randi incident.
All this stuff that you're going to prove, you go against a lady like Doris Stokes, who never harmed anybody in her whole life, and you call her a charlatan and a fake.
You know a great deal about it.
Yes, I do. You said that she was a liar on the radio. You called her a liar.
Don Lane once argued with James Randi regarding the legitimacy of supernatural psychic matters and stormed off the stage in fury.
And did you know this was another one that was recorded in Australia?
Yeah, I did. I saw that.
What is it? It's possession. It's found footage in Australian movies. That is or Blumhouse crap.
I guess it's just cheap to do a movie in Australia.
It must be.
It must be. I don't know. I'm going to read up on why all horror movies are filmed in Australia.
How was this movie doing with like IMDb ratings and Rotten Tomatoes and stuff? How's it looking there?
All right. So as far as like Rotten Tomatoes, the it's holding at a 97%, I believe, by the critics. Now, it had 100% when it was in movie theaters, but then after that AI controversy, it got kind of negative bombed by a lot of people who have strong feelings about it, which brought it down to and in the 80s. But other than that, it's been relatively well received, other than that controversy. Now, I see the controversy and why they did that. I don't understand going and just negative bombing it. I mean, it is a conversation that we can have going forward, and I think we should have it. And maybe films, after seeing the negative effects and the strong feelings towards this one, maybe they'll think twice before using AI. It makes you kind of think on the big budget, do they already do it? And, do we just not know?
Yeah. Because if we made a movie and had to use AI, I would just call the AI something else and no one be none the wiser.
That's the truth.
Somebody's going to, that was made by whoever. You're not going to know.
Yeah.
And the demon Mr. Wriggles is a neat nod to the Exorcist Captain Howdy, according to someone on the Screen Daily website. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I have that note here. I had Mr. Wriggles reminded me of Captain Howdy on my notes here. Isn't that funny?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. I'm glad we got Exorcist coming up too, so I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, yeah.
And that is also a found footage film. No.
No, it might be. Who knows?
Joke? Right.
Why don't you go ahead and jump in and give me some pros and cons and your donut rating on this?
Yeah, let's do it. So I actually didn't do the pros and cons. I kind of just did a little short summary.
That'll work.
So this well-acted movie is an awesome concept. I love the premise. Going from live TV to behind-the-scenes drama while trying to perform is like really fun to watch, and it keeps the mystery of the night steady unraveling. The opening is a big exposition dump, and if you're getting popcorn or something and you miss the first 2 minutes, you're screwed. The ending feels a bit rushed and sudden. I would have done with like another 10 to 15 more minutes. We didn't talk about the runtime, but it's like an hour or 26 minutes. I could have used another 10, 15 to flesh out the beginning and the end just a little bit more. Tell me more about the Grove and all that kind of mystery stuff. You still think it's a fun watch, and I would recommend it to any horror fan. I'm going to go with a 10 out of 13 donuts for Late Night with the Devil.
Good. That's a fair score. It sounds about like mine. Here we go. The idea for this movie was great, very unique. I love the set pieces, the actors, and the look of this film really sold me. It brought me It brought me right to 1977, watching a late night variety show. David Dalsmalchian, that's the last time I'm going to say that name because I'm so scared I'm going to mess it up. Played an incredible late night talk show host of the Johnny Carson era. Very slow build. Everything is pushed to the very end. You said that, didn't you? The ending shows its budget as well. I think some of the effects, the CGI video graphics, electricity, didn't do it for me. Take a movie like Terrifier with an even lower budget than this one, and in my opinion, the practical effects are much more effective. The original idea, David and his performance, and what sets this horror film apart for me. I give it a 9 out of 13 for Late Night with the Devil.
Nice. Not pretty good scores there.
It's a good watch. If you're on Shudder, you can watch it already. I had to buy it. I bought it twice because I didn't finish it and had to go buy it again or rent it rather. I have done that too. I've done that. Man. Yeah, I've done it 2 or 3 times. Like I'll put it in and I'm like, oh, I have to go do this and I'll rent it from like YouTube and then it expires and I have to purchase it again.
We're gonna end up broke here watching some movies for podcasts, man.
I could have owned a lot of these. If you have not seen Late Night for the Devil, go and watch it for yourself. This is a good movie. It's a good movie of 2024, which I'm going to call it 2024, and there's not too many of those yet. So,
best one so far.
Yeah, pass on Imaginary, pass on Night Swim, pass on Tarot. Go watch Late Night with the Devil. How about we spoil this thing, Chris? You ready?
Let's do it.
Here come the spoils. The film's prologue is framed as a documentary investigating an unexplained event that occurred on October 31st, 1977, during the live broadcast of the 6th season episode of Night Owls with Jack Delroy, a successful variety late-night talk show that competes for ratings with The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Through his television connections, Night Owls host Jack Delroy makes regular visits to the Grove, an elite California camp for rich and powerful men.
So I love the setup of the movie, but I don't like how it was just dumped there. Did you like that? Did you find that kind of off-putting that it was just really rushed in the beginning?
I didn't have those initial thoughts. So I guess I was kind of okay with it. I was just ready for the show to start. Yeah, so maybe that's what you're talking about. I was just kind of like, whatever. But I did understand that this is a short movie. I probably need to take all of this in and kind of, But the problem with this is, are you going to remember those elements when you get to the end of this movie? You know,
exactly.
Are you going to remember?
They're going to be like, "What's the Grove?"
Yeah, because it doesn't talk about it too much, but. Yeah, so there's always like either whether it's the Freemasons or I remember Alex Jones going to like a spot where all these rich and powerful people would kind of meet up and make all the world's decisions, and there's always rumors around these cult-like things that they would do and sacrifice children and all this stuff. Jack Delroy apparently is a part of one of these rich, famous groups, and I guess it alludes to the fact that he might have done something. And we'll talk about a little bit later as we move through the synopsis. He might have done something to set himself up for a happy career, right? He signed a pretty good deal to be this late night talk show host.
Yeah, I love the concept there. It just gives you a little bit of mystery that does reveal itself later. But again, that when it does, it feels rushed as well. But we'll get to it.
Sometime later, his wife Madeline contracts terminal lung cancer despite not being a smoker. and she dies, her death having a major effect on Jack, and Night Owls halts its production. Jack ultimately returns, but the show does not attain the same level of success. Even before she died, an episode featuring Madeline telling her cancer story doesn't boost ratings to match Johnny Carson's. In order to recover his ratings, Jack decides to do a special on occultism themed episode on Halloween night at the show's Manhattan studio.
Live television first, as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Sweeps week.
And that's something I would love to watch. Like, those are the Halloween special. Like, I used to love it when, like, it's a totally different show, but like Ghost Hunters would go and they would do like a live overnight at some sanatorium or something and do that. I love those Halloween themed shows like that, because after all the kids are done knocking on your door, you just sit there and watch spooky stuff like that. So this is something that would be really fun to watch.
I hate that my kids are kind of missing what you just said. Are kind of missing out on. We used to look forward to the Simpsons Halloween episode. You know what I mean? Remember the Treehouse of Horrors when that came out? Every show that you would watch, you could watch Home Improvement, and they would have a Halloween special. They would have, the late night talk shows would have pumpkins, and people would dress up and stuff. And I guess the TV age is kind of like people just don't watch television anymore. So I guess you kind of miss out on that. But it was something that we look forward to a lot. It was those Halloween specials. This movie in particular does. I love the where it is looking back on that cancer special, and like she's there and it's talking about those ratings. He's looking at. You can see like in his eye. He even puts like one little tear there, and he's like, and then like after that, it's showing him like kind of shunning the paparazzi and stuff. He's got sunglasses on. And he's like out there in New York City, and he's like, no pictures, please, no pictures.
Yeah, he's so much more popular now, so he's trying to tamp it down.
Yeah, and then so this is after she dies, and then he takes like a 1 month hiatus, and he comes back, but he's just he's falling even further down in the ratings. So they kind of go. Jerry Springer. They start doing like he's over there. He was like arm wrestling a little person at a table. I saw that.
Yeah.
And he's just like doing crazier and crazier and stuff. And it kind of like culminates to this one episode, which is Sweeps Week. I guess Sweeps Week is where like the ratings, I don't know, the ratings are all tallied or something like that. I really don't understand. It's like a television term, but they kept saying it on it's Sweeps Week. He did it in like a vampire voice, which I thought was very well done. And so it culminates here where he's just bringing on all these occultists, all these mediums and stuff like this, and at the very end, he's going to bring a girl who's allegedly possessed, and he's going to try to get her caretaker to do a mock. To bring the demon out to meet the audience.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV, ladies and
That's really cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, and not dangerous at all.
No, not at all. The first guest of the show is psychic Cristou. He's a skeptical, and then you got a skeptical former magician, Carmichael, the Conjurer. He gets on my nerves, man. Parapsychologist, author, June Ross Mitchell. June's subject, Lilly Diabo, is that right? And musician Cleo James. During the broadcast, Cristou is exposed for giving cold readings until he suddenly experiences a real premonition about someone named Minnie and is left shaken. During the commercial breaks, Night Owl's producer Leo Fisk stresses Jack over the show's sudden success. Cristou, is it Cristou or Cristou?
I think it's Cristou.
Cristou, okay, begs to leave the show as he doesn't feel well, but Leo tells him to suck it up and stay for the ratings.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up.
We're popular now, and this it does not explain like what's happening. So you kind of see it in real time. It's like it's color, and they're on the air, and then as soon as it's off air, and we're off, and it's black and white. So this is kind of like the behind the scenes. There's all these moving parts. There's people getting makeup on. They're moving some stage scenery around. It's really cool. It's such a fun concept. And I do like the fact that they have the skeptic there, because he's got to be the one who's like, oh, that's not true. This is what happened, which makes the real stuff kind of more fun later. because he's not a skeptic anymore. He's scared. So that makes the end pretty cool.
Yeah, I like him. He's just annoying. I think he has to be there. He's a very special, integral part of this. But yeah, he is annoying.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Cristou, he's obviously a sham. You know what I mean? So he's just going around and he's like, he's like, what, Peter Guyerman, and they're like, I have a dog named Pee-wee. That's it. Like that whole thing. And then eventually he gets a real reading, which brings him to his knees. And he's just like, Minnie! And his eyes go white. That's a pretty cool little scene there.
Yeah. And what did you think of the skeleton guy who played no part whatsoever, but they really held the camera on him for a while?
He's in the end. He's at the Grove.
Yeah, he's there at the end.
Yeah, because they tell
he at the Grove?
Yeah, he's at the Grove in the okay. you get that dream sequence there at the end, which Okay. So he is at the Grove, and they allude to powerful people being in the audience that night. I believe he is one of those people.
Making sure everything's going off without a hitch.
Which apparently is that he goes through with the deal he made.
Yeah.
And so he has to make a sacrifice, which we'll find out because he made a deal with the devil himself. Craziness. Jack brings out Carmichael, who insists that Cristou is a phony, but Jack supports him after pointing out that Minnie was the nickname that he gave Madeline. As Cristou argues with Carmichael, he becomes sick, projectile vomiting a black liquid, and is rushed to the hospital during another commercial break. In the subsequent segment, June introduced Lilly, the sole survivor of a mass suicide committed by a satanic church that worshipped Abraxas. Carmichael is in disbelief over June's claim that Lilly is connected to a demon that she dubs Mr. Wriggles.
All right, I got 2 points here. The first one is Abraxas sounds like a tub cleaner that you would get in the can, the green can. You'd sprinkle that around. Yeah. That's what that sounds like.
Give me some Abraxas. Pick up some Windex and some Abraxas. We got to get this thing cleaned up. I was thinking more like a state-sponsored exam. You know what I mean? Like here in Tennessee, we have TCAP. Like the kids, they're really stressed out. They got Abraxas this week. You know what I mean? Huh? What do you think?
That's good. That's better than the tub cleaner. And this is when we first get to meet Lilly, right? And this is where she is just creepy, and you can just tell, like, she's the devil, right? Like, you just felt that, or the devil's in her, or something.
She's definitely possessed. And you have the Abraxas Satanic Church that apparently burned down, or it was like, it was over with. But Lilly lived, and it was kind of like
the survivor.
Yeah, it was kind of like this last ditch effort to get the demon out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So she's like, she's a carrier of the demon, and she survived of the Satanic Church of Abraxas, which is, an exam that you take if you want to be a lawyer. No, I'm just June is Lily's handler, also the author of that book, but she gives Jack Delroy a little kiss, which lets you know that they got a little something going on, don't they?
Yeah, a little something going on, and it's kind of like a, hey, I love you, let's make out, and then also, please don't make me do this.
Please don't make me do this, and you and I have a relationship outside of this thing. You know it, I know it, and Lily's going to call me a whore later when she's no that does happen, but she didn't say that. By June's insistence on possible consequences, Jack convinces her to conjure the demon. During another commercial break, the crew informs Jack that Cristou has died en route to Mount Sinai Hospital due to internal hemorrhaging. Jack's sidekick, Gus McConnell, finds this out and begs Jack to stop at these events are disturbing this man of faith. Leo and Jack both shut him down, saying that this episode will save the show and everyone's jobs.
Yeah, and you knew that Cristou was done for, but it's a great point in the movie when everybody finds out. They're all just like kind of like, holy crap, something weird is going on, and also we still have to be back on the air in like a minute 30. Like
the show must go on. Yeah.
Exactly. It's crazy to see them all scrambling and they're trying to calm Jack down because he's freaking out at this point, and he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
So that's a pretty fun part of the movie. It's probably my favorite part.
Yeah. Carmichael, he gets up during each segment. He's kind of like talking to the ladies that he's always trying to dispel at all corners, trying to dispel. He's like talking to the ladies up in the front row that Cristou got a reading on, and he's like finding out that they filled out a little card in the beginning, and some information was passed. So he's finding that out. He has a check for $100,000 that he's willing to give to anyone who has like proof or that of the real afterlife. Is that right? Is that what they were looking for?
Yeah, anything that can prove anything paranormal. Okay. So if you can prove something paranormal, he'll give you a check for $500,000.
Okay, if he can't dispel it,
right.
Right. And which who is the great magician from back in the day? The Houdini would do this back in the day. Houdini, he hated psychics and stuff of that. People who preyed on families who would get money from these poor people who were like just grieving over the loss of their dead relatives, and they would go to these psychic these mediums, and Houdini would travel with them and dispel and put out articles of he said the way that they did their trick is she had a pedal on the bottom of the floor, which made the wall shake, which turned these lights on, and that was spinning. And so Houdini did that exact thing that Carmichael is doing. And I heard about that in a documentary, and I was thinking about that in the entire thing. And what's cool is Houdini did those sort of things for a living before. You know,
that's crazy, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
During June's Conjuring, Lily becomes possessed by Mr. Wriggles, causes the electricity to go haywire, levitates in her chair. In her possessed state, Lily reveals that June and Jack are sleeping together and makes an oblique reference to having met Jack before. Under the tall trees, Carmichael challenges June by having Gus take part in a hypnotism demonstration that causes everyone in the studio to see worms coming out of and ravaging Gus, including Gus himself. When the production team rewinds the footage, it proves that Carmichael's demonstration was merely a hallucination, experienced by everyone in the studio. However, the supernatural phenomena that occurred during June's Conjuring appears unaltered in the recorded playback.
That was a crazy turn of events there, where you have Carmichael doing the hypnosis, and this is after Lily gets possessed, right?
Yes.
It's after her first one, yeah, and she says Jack and Jill ran up the hill to F each other's brains out.
Yes.
That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole hypnosis thing kind of really had you going, like, at least it did me.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so Lily gets possessed, and she's kind of levitating in her chair and everything. She's bleeding. She's got these cuts, electricity. The lights are going out. It's pretty crazy. But at the end of this, Carmichael is like, listen, they're tricking you. Let me show you what they did. And he brings, and he uses Gus for an example, and he has his watch there. And the watch turns into a spiral. And so Carmichael is going to hypnotize. Here's what's cool. This is what makes this scene so special. He hypnotizes Gus, he hypnotizes the audience, and he hypnotizes you at home who's watching the movie. Why? Because you saw worms too, didn't you, Chris? I saw them.
Yep.
So you and I were hypnotized. But when he rolled back the footage, we were duped as well, because clearly there was no worms there. And he was saying this is exactly what this show just did. This is what June just did. She hypnotized the entire audience. But when they did the playback, it looked unaltered. In which Carmichael was like, well, I don't believe it. I need those videotapes. Let me take them with me, and I will dissect them and see exactly what you did. What a cool scene, though. How'd you feel getting hypnotized, man? That hurts, doesn't it? Hurt your feelings a little bit?
It does. It kind of hits your pride a little bit.
Yeah. I always said to myself that if I would never get hypnotized. But after watching this movie, I saw the worms. Apparently, if y'all watch it at home, maybe you won't get hypnotized. Maybe you won't see worms, and I think that would ruin the movie if I didn't get hypnotized. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
All right. And am I beating a death? Am I just like beating this to death and should stop talking about it and move to the next thing?
No, I think it's fine. We could do another couple minutes on it.
Jack is horrified when he notices an apparition of a spiritual Madeline standing behind him when they're reviewing the footage. Carmichael angrily accuses Jack of orchestrating the events as an elaborate hoax. While the pair are fighting, Lily starts to shake and June calls for help. No one moves to help the girl and she quickly becomes possessed again. She has no restraints on because Jack, during the break, took them off of her. I don't know if you remember that. Mm-hmm. Lily stands up and a bolt of lightning from the ceiling connects to her left hand as the bolt from the nearby monitor connects her to the right. Her head split open down the middle and she begins to glow. One by one, she twists Gus' head around, hangs June by her own necklace until her neck just slashes right open and burns Carmichael's body, killing them all via telekinesis. The audience flees from the studio and Leo pulls Jack towards the exit.
So this was the effects that you said that you didn't like. You didn't like the practical effect lightning bolt?
I didn't like the lightning bolt going through Lily, but I didn't mind. And her head splits up. It's okay. It's not the word. It's not the word.
I liked the kills. I just didn't like the entity that was Lily.
Thank you.
And the devil coming through, Gus's head twisting and all that stuff.
I love that.
Is fun. And it just happens too quick.
Yeah.
It's like a slow build up all night. And then it takes 30 seconds to kill everybody.
I don't know if we needed electricity for a possession movie.
I think you're probably right on that. That was kind of a weird way to do that end of a possession movie.
Yeah. And I don't know the reason behind that, but I feel like a demon, The Exorcist doesn't do that. They use practical effects. They turn people's head around, and they don't need electricity to do that.
Late Night with the Devil, or When Evil Lurks was a possession movie, and there was no electricity there.
Yeah,
it's just a weird play on it.
Yeah,
like it doesn't match.
Yeah. But did you see it kind of like went into the monitor and it was like on a fuzzy screen, like a face at one point? The demon.
I did. Yeah.
I don't get.
I thought the face looked cool. I thought that was cool, but just her sitting there floating with a split dome and electricity coming out of it was just strange.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But like you said, everything's like right here. You know, it's a very, very slow build. The whole thing, you're getting minimal things happening around you. It's a possession movie, so it's it's going to climax there at the end. And this is where you're getting all the. This is where crap's just hitting the fan. You know.
Yeah, it happens too quick. I think I typed it out as like I liked seeing it happen, but it just was shot too quick. Like it was just 30 seconds, everybody's dead.
Yeah,
all the deaths you wanted to see, or that you knew you were going to see happen just within the span of 30 seconds. So, underwhelmed.
Jack is suddenly transported to a nightmarish version of the show. He relives moments in the past before it's revealed that he has a connection to the demon possessing Lily. Having encountered it during a ceremony at the Grove, it is also revealed that Jack was indirectly responsible for Madeline contracting cancer. The price for Night Owl's sudden fame. Madeline's spirit confronts Jack and she begs him to put her out of her misery as the cancer is just causing too much pain. He initially refuses but wants to help his sick wife. Using the ritualistic dagger from Lily's old cult, he stabs it into Madeline's body. Suddenly, the scene shifts to the now empty studio with a horrified Jack revealed to have stabbed Lily. Jack stands over the bodies of his dead guests and repeats the phrase, "Dreamer here, awake," as police sirens slowly get louder in the distance.
Now, it's all fun and games until you stab someone with a ceremonial Satan knife.
I've been there.
I say that every day.
If Jack sold his soul for night owls and their crap ratings. What did Johnny Carson do, man?
Right.
That's what I'm
What's
wondering.
crazy is that Jack sold his soul essentially and his wife and his life, and he still couldn't beat Carson.
Yeah, his highest rated show was 1 point lower than Johnny's. Which,
or maybe this one was it, and he'll never get to experience the fame that comes with that. You know,
Lilly looks at when she comes on the show. She goes, "You're going to be famous tonight. Don't worry." You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, it was so good.
I can't say enough about how freaking creepy she was, man. She just gave me the chills.
She gives me the heebie-jeebies. Say it.
Yeah.
No, you don't say that. Yeah, I thought it was a good film, man. I thought it was good. I love every actor choice because they you only had like 6 or 7. You know, you didn't have much, and I think everybody had to do their part. And again, they sold me on a 1970s variety show. I was watching a 1970s variety show, and I think this is where found footage films shine, is when they sell you on. I don't have to believe it 100%. I know I'm watching a movie, but they sold me on the time, and most found footage kind of failed to do that. And I think this one did a good job. And that found footage is a great way, especially for horror, but a great way to do low budget horror and reach reach and have a good story and put out a good film. You know, we have seen that countless times, but a lot of them suck.
Yeah, and stay tuned next week when we do Paranormal Activity, another found footage. No, I'm just kidding. The found footage film podcast here.
What all have we done?
We've done Blair Witch. We've done Hell House. We've done this one.
VHS.
Oh, VHS. Yeah. So that's 4 out of like 30 something episodes.
Yeah. I wonder if Skinamarink, is that found footage?
No. They're not holding a camera or anything.
What did you call that one? What is Skinamarink? What did you say it was? Analog. Analog. Okay,
horror.
yeah, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Analog horror.
Yeah,
funny.
And I think you made fun of me, and then you looked it up, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it is analog."
And then I used it during the podcast. I said, "Did you know, Chris? This is an analog horror film." And you went, "Yeah." Like I thought you were gonna like say more than that. I thought it was funny.
Tony.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Fun stuff.
Good stuff, man. What do we got next?
Hey, so coming up, everybody, we have Friday the 13th, the original from 1980.
The OG.
We have The Ring from 2002. Mm-hmm. And then The Conjuring from 2013.
I'm excited about all three.
Dive into that universe sooner or later. There's like 50 movies in it. So
that's a lot of work. Roll your sleeves up, man. It's a lot of work. Yeah. Guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Always. Thank you from Blood and Donuts, and we'll see you soon.